Okay, we've all made a mistake at work, right? Of course we have. But have you ever made a mistake and turned it into, well, a full-blown theatrical production? Today, we're going to deconstruct a very specific, very modern strategy, the ridiculously performative apology. Let's get right into it.
So let's meet our subject, Samantha. Right out of the gate, with her very first line, she's not just admitting she messed up. She's practically selling tickets to the show. The tone is set, you know? This is not going to be one of those quiet, heartfelt apologies. Nope, this is going to be a full-blown spectacle.
Okay, so the first step in this, let's call it a strategy, is absolutely key. You don't just say, oops, I made a mistake. No, you give that mistake a grand, dramatic title. You basically turn a simple error into a historic event.
And what's so brilliant here is the branding. By calling it the Great Email Catastrophe, Samantha totally transforms her personal screw-up into this shared, almost legendary experience. Suddenly, it's not just that email Samantha messed up, it's an event that everyone at the office can say they survived together.
So what exactly was in this catastrophic email? Well, it was a perfect storm of absurdity. You've got cat memes, a scan of her foot, and yeah, the long story tag is probably for the best, and a draft of her novel. The sheer ridiculousness of it all kind of lowers the stakes, right? It frames the whole thing as more hilarious than harmful.
So you've caused this disaster. Now what? How do you possibly respond to that? Well, for Samantha, a simple "I'm sorry" is not even on the table. It's going to get much, much bigger. Let's break down the anatomy of what she does next.
And boom, here's the pivot. She immediately commercializes her mistake. This is not just an apology, it's an apology tour with merchandise. I mean, come on. Just like that, the whole dynamic shifts away from sincere regret and into this wild, self-aware performance art.
So there's definitely a method to this madness. You can really break it down into 4 steps. First, brand the disaster. Give it that big, epic name. Second, launch the tour. Turn it into a whole event. Third, you've got to make it theatrical. And only then, after all that buildup, do you finally deliver the so-called apology.
Now here's where it gets really clever. This isn't some generic one-size-fits-all apology. Oh no, Samantha knows exactly who is affected and how, and she tailors her performance to manage each of those specific relationships. It's pretty surgical.
This really tells you everything you need to know about her priorities. Who gets the biggest slice of the apology pie? The tech team. Of course, they're the ones who actually had to clean up her mess. Then comes her boss, who had to deal with the fallout. Her co-workers get a smaller piece, and the clients, well, they're practically an afterthought. It's a perfect map of who held the power in this situation.
So let's start with the apology to her boss. She acknowledges the real business impact, clients getting totally the wrong thing. But then she cushions it with this wonderfully absurd idea of a coupon for emotional damages. It admits how serious it was, while also making it impossible not to laugh. And what about her coworkers? Totally different vibe. It's not about business at all. It's about a shared bizarre experience. By referencing her panic-induced interpretive dance, she's turning her meltdown into an inside joke. It's like saying, hey, we all went through this crazy thing together, which weirdly strengthens their bond.
And finally, the tech team. I mean, wow. Heroes, saints, and wizards. This is just pure, shameless flattery. She knows they're the ones who held the keys to fixing everything, so she treats them like royalty and promises them the one thing they actually want, a lifetime supply of caffeine. It's strategic, and honestly, it's brilliant.
And of course, after all that, we get to the classic move in any public apology, the lessons learned part. This is the moment where the whole thing pivots away from the actual damage she caused and moves toward her own journey of personal growth.
And this is where we need to read between the lines, right? The official lesson is something practical, like reply all is a dangerous weapon. But what her actions really teach us is something else entirely. A mistake is a personal branding opportunity. And the bigger the mess you make, the bigger your performance has to be.
So you have to ask, why on earth does any of this work? I mean, on the surface, it's totally ridiculous. It's barely even an apology. And yet, this over-the-top approach can be shockingly effective. Let's get into the psychology of it.
Here's the core of it. It's all about the humor. By making the whole situation so absurd and funny, she disarms people. Think about it. It is really, really hard to stay mad at someone when you're laughing. And by framing it as this shared disaster, she turns her colleagues from victims into fellow survivors of a hilarious story.
And she basically admits it herself right at the end. She's not asking for forgiveness for a failure. She's inviting everyone to celebrate the debacle with her. She literally reframes a total catastrophe as a win for team building. It is just a masterstroke of spin.
So we've seen the whole performance. The branding, the tour, the targeted apologies, the strategic reframing. After breaking all that down, what is the one thing we should really take away from this masterclass?
And the final word comes from Samantha herself. The most important lesson here is that while her method is fascinating to pull apart, it's probably not one you want to copy. Look, it's a brilliant performance, a masterclass in what not to do. Maybe, just maybe, a simple "I'm sorry" would have worked just fine too.